Right guys, I've got one in the net. The rod has just screamed off. Not the biggest fish in the world, but it's a blank saver for me. A couple of lads have already had a fish, so Carp and Iger Dave's had one, and Wayne the one-eyed carp has also had one, so I'm happy to be off mark myself. So a nice little common, immaculate as they are here. Not going to put my hand over his eyes for a sec just to calm him down a little bit, and then we'll get him up for the camera and get him back in safe and sound. I'm just happy that I've had the blank saver. That'll do me for this session so far. So I know I'm not blanking, but we have got a lot of fish in the area. Not necessarily where we are, but they are in the area. Kev unfortunately hasn't come, and his peg has been black today. There we go, nice little common, £10 on the dot. Job's a good one. I'll stick him back now. Time for Lukey to get one. Right, morning team. Just a little bit of an update for what we've done through the night. So Luke managed to have one fish as far as I'm aware so far through the night. I didn't hear him have any others. I've not managed to wake him up or spoke to him yet, so God knows if he has had any more. I believe Wayne, the one-eyed carp, he's had 2 and lost 1. So I've managed to bag myself a little one. I've had 2 through the night, about £10 each, and I've also lost 1. One managed to snag me up around the area. I managed to free it, but the fish had got off. That was a bit of a pain in the butt trying to get that off the aerator, but it come off. I didn't lose a rig, which I'm happy about because I hate leaving trailing tackle, you know, in the water. Right then, so my plan for today is what I'm gonna do is, I've had nothing on the bar so far, so I'm gonna put some zigs out today, leave them in all day because the fish were milling about. If I have a bite, I have a bite, but I'm going to bring them into the middle of the lake and allow that back area just to be clear, so hopefully the fish might start to hold up in and around the fallen tree that I'm fishing to. And what that'll do, it'll rest my spots, because there's 2 spots I've got out there, and the left hand side of the tree produced. It's not the best to get back out there at night, but I am managing to get my rods where I need them. But no, it's been, obviously the fish have not been the greatest so far, but it's been a successful trip. I've had 4 fish now, obviously only to £10, which is, it's not really my kind of fishing, but any fish is kind of welcome. That one I lost, you never know what that could have been. It felt like a decent fish, but it's hard to say really. It felt better than the others. The others were only £10, so they came in quite easy, but it did feel a little bit better, but they always do, don't they, when you lose them? So that's always the case, how it goes anyway. Lovely morning this morning, waking up. I love waking up to all the mist and the birds and stuff like that. There's no better feeling in the morning. I've been up since probably about 4 o'clock-ish. So yeah, no, I've watched the sun come up and that. I've seen plenty of activity, and hopefully we might actually get a bite again before it gets too warm. But if you could float a fish on here, you would absolutely take it apart. There'd be no doubt about it, because they're all sat on the top. They're not very interesting, and I've fished zigs literally just under the surface, but I reckon if you get them going on floaters on here, which you're not allowed, you'd have a screamer. But no, I'll leave you with that for now, and I'll come back to you and give you a little bit of an update. Right, well, one of the things I'm pretty useless at doing on my vlogs is talking about my rigs and stuff like that, and doing videos and things like that on my rigs. So I thought I'll get one of these in quickly, show you what I'm using. So overnight, so far, all 3 of my fish were caught on the noodle rig. I always fish the noodle rig, and this is the style of noodle rig that I fish. So I've had plenty of fish at the caravan using this setup, to be honest, and I lose very few fish at the caravan using this setup. And what it is I like to cut a 15mm pop-up in half, and then I use a 20mm bottom bait, or an 18mm bottom bait, sometimes even a 22mm bottom bait if I'm getting sick to death of being done by the bream. And then it's just your standard noodle rig arrangement. So a noodle rig is basically a blowback rig with a long piece of shrink tube as a kicker basically, and what that does is when it goes in, it hooks on very well, and I'll show you how well it turns in my hand in a second. And then it's just a little bit of putty. I like to have a little bit of putty just where the coated braid is broke, and then I like to also have a little bit of putty up the line. I'll steam this all straight before I put it out. I'm using a semi-stiff boom with a tail rubber on the end. People look at it and think it's quite an hard rig to tie, but it's really not, to be honest. Right, I'll talk to you about the second rig that I've been using this time, and it's the 360 rig. Really common rig, lots of people use it. A lot of people don't like it, and a lot of people slag it off, saying that sometimes you can cause damage to the fish with the way the swivel arrangement and the swivel sits on the actual hook, but I've personally not had any issues. The beads probably want just sorting a little bit on this one, but other than that, and I also like to use the same arrangement with a little bit of putty to weigh the pop up down, and then a little bit of putty in the middle just to make sure that everything's pinned down on the bottom. And that's really the two go-to rigs that I've been using here. There's not really many different rigs that I use, to be fair. I use a noodle rig, I use the 360 rig where I can, and then sometimes if I'm not allowed I'll use a Ronnie rig, but other than that, chods, obviously chods are necessary sometimes, and then standard knotless knot solid bag rigs. There's not loads of rigs that you need to chop and change for, I don't believe. And these are the ones that work for me generally. If you see me on the bank, 9 times out of 10, if I've got a clean enough bottom, I'll be using a noodle rig. And then any other time, it will generally be a 360 really. But so that's the rigs for you for now. Hopefully we manage to have a couple more bites. Rods are back on the dance floor. Leave them in for a couple of hours as it gets a little bit warmer. I'll bring them out, put a little bit of bait in, and I'll sit on it. I'll rest the swim through the day because it's just too hot. During the late morning, Luke received a screaming run on his left-hand rod, resulting in the biggest fish of the session so far. The bite came from under the bush to the left-hand side of his swim, the same spot where most of his bites had come from during this session. Right, this is absolutely ridiculous, to be honest, how hot it is. I've gone against what I was planning to do and keep my rods out, because I've been round and through baiting where I've showed you, and around that tree to the left hand side I've seen one bosh. I wouldn't have questioned it, I'd have just left the rigs out because I'm trying to rest the swim, but I've had 3 bosh out, and they were definitely 2 different fish, and they were of decent size. They weren't big fish, but they were high doubles at least anyway, so that's what I'm looking to catch in here, because they're saying there's 730s in here and loads of 20s and stuff like that, but I've seen loads of fish, but not loads of big fish, if you get what I mean. A lot of them have been stocky style fish that I've really seen. So in this back bay, maybe the bigger fish are in the main water. Our Luke's now gone home. He's had to go home for a family emergency, so I'm here on my own now. I've literally got this whole back bay to myself, so which is nice. And I've seen them fish bosh out. I've also seen a fish bosh out where my zig is. I've got a zig that's a couple of inches under the surface. I've put that out now as well. So you never know, there is a chance maybe even in this heat of catching it. I'm absolutely literally melting as it stands, so it's horrible. I've had Dave the Carp and has been round. We've had a chat about a few things and that, so his video is going to be coming out for this as well at some point after. Well, his will be out before mine because he's faster at editing than I am. So also with this video, I talked about in the last couple of videos, I have got a Cromwell video that's in the making still, and I'm also at Baden on Wednesday doing another video, so if anybody's waiting for more content, hopefully we've got 2 or 3 videos in the pipeline coming out. I've been filming at the caravan, been doing my series at the caravan. That's going to be like a long video, like an hour and a half. I'm a campaign there, so on the back lake, so when that probably won't be out for 12 months, I don't think, that one, but there are a few videos in the pipeline, so I do apologise that there hasn't been stuff coming out. I think my problem is I'm massively overcritical of myself. I know what I can achieve, you know, I know what the quality of video I can achieve. I just struggle to film it on my own. And I kind of feel, people say I don't, but I kind of feel like I struggle with the talking bit as well, but that'll just come with time. I'm only 5 videos in as it stands at the minute. I'm doing loads of product photography and bits and bobs on the side as well. Getting involved with Hobo Armour. It's a great, do you know what, team-wise, it's a great team to be in. I'm in a couple of teams at the minute, but it genuinely is a great team to be in. Mark, who owns it, he's dead helpful and stuff like that. And I love going down to the unit doing photography. I've always been mad into photography though, so like I love helping Dave, Carp and Iger. But there's coots diving on my spot now, which is not going to be good for me. But anyway, more to that. So yeah, I do enjoy teaching people photography. I'm not the best photographer in the world. I don't rave to be that, but I do fully understand quite a lot of the techniques about it. So if anybody does need any help, get in contact with me and I'll try my best. Obviously, I'm not going to get millions of messages because I'm, you know, new to all this sort of thing, but I will try my best to help you. So got a little bit something funny to tell you what happened to me today. So this morning my rod went off at 4 o'clock. You can have a little laugh at me. Jumped out the bivvy like a maniac. I'm fishing locked up because I'm fishing into just off the snags, a fallen tree. And obviously the fish can't take any line, it can just kite. And what happened is I jumped out, went running to grab my rods at Mach 10 as you do, you know, half asleep. Managed to catch my foot on the door of the bivvy somehow, tangled my toes or something. I can't even tell you what happened, it happened that quick. Next minute, I'm clattering into my rods, fell into me, tripped all over my rods, boshed in the rods and nearly slipped over the edge of the peg. So yeah, I nearly went for a swim this morning at 4 o'clock. I've never ever can say I've never done that before. I've been stuck in a sleeping bag before, like where I've zipped the sleeping bag up, but I've never tripped up and mullered my rods. Luckily enough though, I managed to have the fish. I got the fish, it was only £5, so my knee's killing me. It's all swelled up, I smashed all my knee in off the floor. So yeah, I hope that boilie that he tried to eat was worth it, because he's nearly had me in A&E or drowned. But no, it's all fun and games, innit? Right, well, I won't bore you anymore. I'm gonna try and just stay in the shade really. I'm sat in the doorway. Can't go fully in the bivvy because I'm literally melting. It's 27 degrees it's saying. Whether it is that or not, I ain't got a thermometer, but it is warm. And yeah, we'll see how I get on and hopefully I'll come back to you. Right, morning campers. It's the final morning. Unfortunately, I've not had any fish through the night. What's happened is I've had a drop back on my right hand rod that's not registered. So unfortunately, I've lost a fish there because the bobbin was on the floor. I did hear it beep once, but usually if it drops back, I should get at least 2 to 3 beeps, and I've been out on that. But I guess you should really check every beep, so it's a little bit gutting, but it is what it is. And also my left hand rod, which I'm fished to the tree, unfortunately I've managed to pick up some leaf matter masking the hook point, so I've not had anything on that, and I expected to actually have them. I did set my alarm for the middle of the night to go and redo the rods if need be and check them, because I did expect to have a fish. But unfortunately, I'd set the date wrong. So do you know when you can set your alarms? It was set for specific days, so it never went off, that alarm. I got up around 3 o'clock this morning, made a brew and stuff, but we're in last knockings now. I'm going to pack down slowly. And if you don't hear from me, thank you very much for watching this video. And if you can give us a like and subscribe, that'd be great. Building content up slowly. I'm going to try and release more and more. I have got quite a few trips planned. So I'm at Badenhall again for 4 nights on Wednesday. I've got Merrington for 7 days coming up, and I've also got Wyeside for a couple of nights. So there's a few trips planned. I'm still filming my campaign on the caravan. So that's probably going to take about 12 months to film that, but that'll be like a feature film when that's done. But I'm out quite a bit. Sometimes a little bit too critical of my own footage, but for all the people that have been watching from the start, thanks very much, and hopefully I'll keep improving, putting better content out there for you, and I'll speak to you again soon.